But I set fire to the rain, watched it pour as I touched your face. Well, it burned while I cried, cause I heard it screaming out your name. Your name. I set fire to the rain, and I threw us into the flames. When we felt something dying, cause I knew that that was the last time, the last time.
What's up, peeps? How's everybody doing? I have some stuff for you guys today. Hopefully I can get it all to work right. I'm going to show you a couple things on the screen here instead of just saying them. I hope I figured that out on StreamYard here. But anyways, today, Flora, a lot of things. I think there's a lot of questions that we need to ask and why they're not being answered. I think the answer to them questions will tell us the investigation, the strategy, what they did, and how they fucked up initially, which Doug Carter admitted, and what happened there initially. Before we do that, let's say hi to everybody. Tanisha's here. Finally able to see you live. Honeybee, just Deb. What's up, everybody? A lot of stuff going on this week. Jinx, always in. All right. I think that's a lot of people. Mommy Wolverine is here. Kennedy is here. So as people jump in, hopefully more people will come in and we'll start talking about this. There's a couple key points that I'm going to talk about today. There's not too many. One of them is a 911 call. I'll explain to you and I'll show you that. Hopefully I'll be able to get all this working here. I think I should be able to do it. I have everything kind of queued up, the documents and stuff that I want to show you. So as I start digging into that, we'll go around here. So I'm hoping that you guys can all see this. Let me check my own thing so I could show you something here. I hope I'm sharing the screen right. I've shared video before. Oh, there we go. I've shared video before, but never documents. This one real quick I want to show you. So basically, this is like a log of all the things that they've done in the investigation. They've added this or added that on certain dates. There isn't times here, but we know Greg Edwards. So you'll look at the column, the author. That's the person, obviously, that wrote it. Law enforcement or whatever they are. It tells you what the document is, description of the context, and the privilege and who can see it. So, guys, there's no gag order on Flora. There's a gag order to a certain extent because of the ongoing civil litigation. But our buddy Tim Corbett found out that there is no gag order. No gag order. Investigators can talk. You could ask them to interview. They could say, oh, we can't because of ongoing investigation. But there is no gag order. Trooper Greg Edwards also investigated Dennis Randall's wife, who got caught stealing money. So initially, was there, there was kind of a slap on the wrist that happened there. So was there a conflict of interest, things like that? But let's keep looking at these names here in this left-hand column, okay? The names in this left-hand column. And you can see the different things that they did. There's a first polygraph examination as we're breaking the crest of the page here. Look at that. Stephanie Thompson. She was a polygraph person, right? She was a state police. She and her daughter, in my opinion, were murdered in their house in a fire. Undetermined. Incredibly hot fire. Power went out. From what they can tell, then the place caught on fire, right? We've seen quite a few fires in that area. Power goes out. Stephanie Thompson. Stephanie Thompson. So these are just things that I think it's interesting to show you, okay? I didn't know if you guys knew that or not. And there was talk she did some Delphi stuff too, lie detectors. I can't confirm that because of documents. I haven't seen it. But here you could see it. Okay. So there's one thing that I'd like to show you. Now let me show you another document that we will get into here. That one works so easy. I'm just afraid the next ones are going to be somehow screwed up. Oh, yes. Here's an interesting document. This is the fire department run sheet from Flora, Indiana. The fire department run sheet, right? Again, nothing here. There's nothing under a gag. So the person was able to get this from me, got this very early on, like days after, or once it was written. And the first thing you'll notice, it is written in a fucking pencil, maybe a pen. Okay. So I'll just go over this real fast with you. This is a basic fire department run sheet. This would be initial run sheet. We don't do any handwriting in our department anymore, right? We did in 2017 either. We probably stopped around 2015 or 2012. And everything's computerized. Everything has to go into the computer if you want to get grant money, right? That's how these places live. They live on grant money. Bingo don't pay the bills all the time. Owner of the house, area of origin, under investigation. So they're not saying nothing. They put it out with water. Number of stories, they fucked that up. They put 2.5 at first, but I'd give them a little bit of leeway there. But again, you can't even tell what this number is. 4 little girls died in this fire, and this is their official fire report. It's horse shit. Approximately 3,000 feet. Go to the assessment on the website, on the county website. I assume every county has it now. And it'll show you the building layout. Fire damage downstairs and upstairs. Look, apartment upstairs, smoke damage. Okay, so the apartment upstairs where the smoke detectors worked only got smoke damage. And those people all got out. Working smoke detectors. Yes, that is a lie. That's a lie. Listen, this report's wrote what we call the fire compartment or the fire building or the fire structure. That is a lie. You're seeing it right here. There isn't working smoke detectors. Okay. Next to it, they put presently not working, right? I'm sorry if I'm yelling, guys. I don't write a dictionary. I'm not Merriam-Webster. But it says working smoke detectors, yes. Presently not working. That means they're not working. That means this report is a lie. It's a lie. It's fraud. I'm showing it to you. This is absolute horse shit. Horse shit. No one's explaining this away. You understand what I'm telling you? Working smoke detectors, yes. Presently not working. That means they're not working. And how did you know that they ever worked? Okay? This is the shit that went on afterwards. Look at that signature. I'm not going to say the name of that signature. I could tell you that ain't Adam Randall. So why wouldn't the fire chief, whose name should be here, be writing the report? It should be the fire chief and the guy writing the report. These should always be the same thing. Maybe the fire chief's on vacation that week, him and his family are away, the deputy runs it. His name would be here and here. Why isn't the officer in charge there? You guys tell me. I'm telling you as a fireman, this shit doesn't fly anywhere. Anywhere. This is crazy, folks. Crazy. Let's continue on with the document here. These are the names of the people that were at the fire that responded. This is kept basically because they pay guys per run. It's insurance purposes and things like that too. What it's good to do, and I'm sure that these guys don't do it here, but if you're exposed to a chemical, and let's say that there was, we know that the house on so-and-so at 123 Main Street, there was a fire and there was a chemical that causes cancer. And 2 or 3 years later, guys are breaking out with the same type of cancer. And what the hell happened? They could trace it back to that fire. They could prove you were there. And in the state of Pennsylvania, we have what's called cancer presumption, where the borough, the city that you work for has to prove you didn't get it at work as a fireman, and they can't do that. But anyways, the list of the people that were there, other agencies involved. These would be other police, other fire departments, and there's quite a list there, as you can see. They had 2 different helicopter services, Lifeline, Samaritan, multiple EMS agencies. BATF, I don't know if that's you have Indiana State Fire Marshal. Is that the ATF? What would the B stand for? Maybe someone local can help me with that. I don't know. Fort Pitts is in here. Maybe someone local can help me with that. I don't know what that stands for. That's probably a local designation where everyone around there will know what it means. You have your narrative here, okay? This is their narrative of what happened. Now, I don't know if this is generated from the fire department. I'm guessing it's generated from the fire department, but I'm not sure because it doesn't go into detail the handwritten paper, okay? But this kind of gives you an idea. Now, let me show you something else in this narrative, how poor they are with their paperwork, okay? I could send this to anyone that wants it. We're not going to read through all of it. But as we come up, oh, it's right here. I'm sorry. I just want to read you a couple lines out of here, and I'll show you where I am, okay? So all this breaks out roughly 3:30. Roughly 3:30, 3:33 or 3:34. I think they're getting the call. But as you see, officer down, the police are saying to tone out all the medics. They get the helicopter on right away. Once they get the police, they say it's going to be needed. Okay. Flora Unit 651 advised that CPR was in progress on all 3 children. All 3 children. And also requested Florida utilities be en route. That's gas, electric. You want to shut everything off to the fire. All 3 children. 0356 was reported to dispatch that all 4 children were out of the house and CPR was in progress on all 4 children. Is 3 a typo instead of 4? It could be. But how do you leave that go? Who proofreads this? Who proofreads it? Nobody does. Clearly. This is the helicopter talk. They have a 10-minute ETA. They'll establish the landing zone. Carroll County Sheriff Unit 81, the sheriff, arrived on the scene. So who's the sheriff of Carroll County in 2017? Right? He was there. He was at the scene. It's telling us right here, 8-1. So when they do designations, you have 8-1, 8 this, 8 that. You're going to see Yoder's designation, I think, is 8-11. So 1, the lowest number is going to be the chief, right? If your unit's 100, 100-1 will be the chief. If your unit's 235, 235-1 is going to be the chief. And it kind of disseminates out. If everyone has their own number or their own call sign on the radio, the lower you are. So the new guy just got hired. He might be 8-24, depending on how many firemen are in the department. Firewomen are in the department. 8-24, those are Kobe Bryant's 2 numbers. To play that tonight. Okay, again. They do CPR, and then we find out exactly kind of what happens here, okay? So they're attempting CPR. Go back up here 1 second so I get the time. 3:56, they're attempting CPR. 3:56, they're attempting CPR. Now, they're attempting CPR, but did these kids ever get in an ambulance? Did they ever move them to try to take them to a trauma center, emergency center, or even consider flying them? That's a decision for the medical people. They make the decision not to do it. The Carroll County EMS director, Unit 902. This is the director of Carroll County EMS. This is the boss. He's on the scene, okay? He's obviously, I am assuming, like they do anywhere else in the country, that he is a paramedic or higher. Paramedics can call victims deceased It's very unusual that they do it after CPR, and they usually do it for people that are clearly deceased. Same with EMTs. EMT has a much stricter standard where they can declare someone deceased. Paramedics are higher than EMTs, and then first responders, I don't even think they have anymore. The coroner reported that he would be en route ASAP. 3 children were declared deceased at the scene by EMS personnel. 3 children were declared deceased at the scene by EMS personnel. Again, 3, right? 3. At 4:28, fire was reported under control. So during this, they're still fighting the fire. Now, at this point, at 4:28, it's not blazing like you saw in the video, but they're hitting hot spots, right? The fire gets behind the walls, it gets in ceilings, it gets all over the place. So that's under control. It might be different. Hey, we can see all the fires knocked down. We're in overhaul. We're going to call it under control. But they wait till then to do it. And that's a decision. We don't have video of that. It could have flared back up or something. And as you see all this that's happening, okay? What's interesting, not totally stunning, but I want to explain something to you guys. So as you can see here, they put the, pretty sure it's in this paragraph. Let me double check. They released the Flora Fire Department. It's like around 6 a.m. So they're only at a fatal fire for about 4 hours. Usually it's more than that. But in this situation, I think the firemen and firewomen were affected. So you had the standby companies or your mutual aid companies kind of take on, okay, we'll handle this kind of work here. You guys go back and do what you need to do. I don't see anywhere where it says how the girls were transported, how they ended up on the fire station floor. Then you have a note down here, a 4th child was declared deceased by Kerrielle County EMS. The exact time was not available. That doesn't make any sense to me. Did they not know there was a 4th girl in the house? Did they leave the 4th girl in there? This doesn't make any sense. I can't understand this. Maybe someone here can. I don't know. I'm not an EMS guy, but I ask guys at work that do both, and they don't have an answer either. We see we knew about all that stuff. Now, what I'm going to go over here, this is basically what appears on the computer or the CAD system. It's called the CAD system. And this is what we have. I showed you pictures before on my community page when we get a call, what it looks like and things like that. So this is what it looks like. So to me, I can read this. Believe it or not, I can read this. A lot of you are probably like, what the fuck does this mean? Well, they take it out of here and they take it out of the CAD and they put it in the next thing I'm going to show you. It's a little bit easier to read and understand. Okay. So basically, caller advised her apartment is on fire. There's 4 children inside the apartment in the downstairs area. Well, we know that wasn't true. We know they were upstairs. There could have been confusion initially. There could have been people yelling and screaming. It's hard for a dispatcher to get that. So dispatchers, they're kind of unsung EMS, or I'm sorry, first responder. We forget about them a lot. They deal with a lot of shit. They might not be at the scene, but they're dealing with people. They're talking to people. They're hearing some of people's final words that they ever speak. So they're doing their best here, okay? Oh, excuse me. So we know at 3:35, the Florida Fire Department was toned out. What does that mean? That means their alarms went off in their station. You could say you're toned out, you're tripped out, your bells are going off, whatever you want to say, but that's what that means, okay? 811 is Drew Yoder, as I explained before. 81 was the county sheriff in 2017. I don't think that takes a big search to find out who that was. Baby got back. And that was your hint. And Yoder's telling him to punch out Cutler Fire as well. Okay? So this is a minute into the call. And I guarantee you, and as fucked up as this sounds, folks, I guarantee you the Florida Fire Department was pissed that a cop who might be a volunteer fireman somewhere else or not called out another department to their fire. And that shouldn't matter. Service to the citizens should matter. I got news for you, folks. That's bullshit. That's not how these people view it. There's a vast amount of volunteer firemen that care to enter for the people. And then there's another, a decent amount that are in it for their fiefdom. Oh, I can't close my station, even though there's another station a mile down the road with all the same equipment, because I won't be in charge of some shit. That's Pennsylvania. That's Indiana. That's nationwide, where there's mainly volunteer departments. Then you have different people calling in 654, 651, 1076. So all this stuff means is if you ever watch Ruckus's channel, they're en route. You shouldn't be using 10 codes. I can't believe they're still using 10 codes, even in 2017. I mean, are we like fucking Smokey and the Bandit talking the Boss Hog here? I mean, like, are we Radio and Big and Little Enos? But anyways, the 10 codes. I learned in early 2000s, don't use 10 codes anymore. That's Yoder can't make entry. Flora requested tone out of Delphi. So someone gets on the radio from the Florida Fire Department, probably on their way to the station, or maybe it was Adam Randall who was standing there with fire gear on, as we know from the film and as we know from what Gaylin said. So they say, we need a ladder, and ladder spelled with 2 D's. When they're calling for a ladder, they're not calling for a ground ladder. They're calling for a ladder truck, for a stick, for something like that, for a fire truck that has a ladder attached to it that goes, most of them 70, some of them go up to 120 feet. That's what they're asking for that situation. They're not asking for a ground ladder. Okay, they're asking for a ladder truck. They have a ground ladder, multiple on their engine that they brought. The second truck that comes in was like a utility or brush truck, kind of like a troop mover, I'm thinking. So, and it's hard to find anything out about their fire department. So either Flora did not have a ladder truck or the ladder truck was out of service. That's not uncommon. Hey, we're getting stuff worked on. They call out Camden. You see guys with Camden fire departments out. They tone out Delphi again. So Delphi Fire Department doesn't initially respond to the first call out. Guys are home sleeping. No one's at the station. So it's only another minute, and they tone them out again. They call Camden in for RIT team. So let me tell you what a RIT team is. RIT team is a rapid intervention team. What they'll do is they're there to rescue downed firemen. There'll be 3 or 4 people. They usually have a stretcher. Not a stretcher, but what we call a Stokes basket, which is the basket to carry people. In that basket, they'll have a backboard, some saws and things like that, where if a firefighter gets trapped, they're able to go in there, cut with saws, or do whatever they have to do to extricate the fireman. They don't do any work at the fire. They just stand there. They could get there and kind of do a 360 and walk around and see different things that they might have to be checking out. But their job is to only rescue downed firemen. So they're not doing nothing. They're not just standing there doing nothing. There's a RIT team. I do not see a RIT team anywhere on the video. Let me tell you that right now. Usually your RIT team is standing at the point of access to the house, which would have been the front door and the front yard. They'd have been standing there, not doing anything but rescuing down firemen. So they're calling out Cutler. They're calling out other people. We have officer down. So at 3:45, that is Yoder. They request to make contact with Officer 1. That's coming from dispatch. And then pretty soon after, once they get him out, Samaritan helicopter, that's the helicopter. It's for the first helicopter company. We have Life Flight or Stat Medevac here. Again, so this must have came across the radio. Someone said 3 kids out of the house, right? Anything here came across the radio. As for their second helicopter, they're toning out another fire department. At one point, the police called for all the medics in the county. And you see the times here, kind of that everyone gets there. Good data, right? So I'm going to go back into some of the comments here and see what you guys had as I was reading over that. I have 1 or 2 other things I do want to show you. I'm happy that I'm able to figure this out a little bit. So let me see if you guys had anything. And anyone, like I said, my email is kevlar148@hotmail.com. I could send you anything. There's no gag on this case. So these documents were sent to me legally. I have them legally. Oh, honeybee, I'm sorry. I need to make it larger. The next time I go in there, I'll try to make it bigger. I'll take myself off the screen. I think I figured out how to do that. So I hope that, well, you know what you guys can do too. This is what I do sometimes. I don't have readers yet. I probably should, but I'll be watching the YouTube. I'll pause it and I'll take a picture of the TV screen and I'll go back and read it. But I'd be glad to share this with anybody. I could put these on our Discords. Those of you that are on our Discords, those of you that are on the Discords and aren't troublemakers, if you're in some of the Discords, you'll get that joke. Honeybee just said that screenshotting. Good afternoon, Cleo, Lisa. Polygraph is inadmissible in court. Lisa, you're 100% right. However, you could see Indiana, they lean on it heavy. They're not going to use it in court. They're going to use it to lean on the suspect. But you see how much of that they do. How much of that they do. So there's people that said she did Delphi lie detectors too. I can't confirm that. I haven't seen those documents. The people that tell me I trust, but you just got to show me something there too. So I wonder too why they use lie detectors so much, but they use it a ton there. They really do. And yeah, you can't use it in court. People can blow the box that are innocent, and people that are guilty can beat the lie detector, but it's just that it's another interesting thing. Yeah, lies and garbage, and it's not even like the more I read this, was there a miscommunication? Did they only think that there was 3 girls and 1 girl was left there and they went back later? That can happen. That can happen. You would think with that many people there, the neighbors and everyone else, the goddamn homeowners and everything else, that they would say, no, there's 3 little girls. We all know how many girls live here. They're on the main street. They wave to everyone as they go by. We all know that. But it's another question. But the more that you cover something up, which clearly is happening here, no one could say anything different. Look, and the firemen and firewomen that worked that night, I'm not saying anything was done illegally by them, right? There's things they wish they could do different, 100%. The latter, I'm sure, is one of them. I'm sure it racks their brain, right? But the cover-up happened after. All the bullshit happened after. Who was being protected? Was the fire department trying to protect themselves because of their maybe they didn't perform the way they wanted to? There's not a need for that, because legally you're not on the hook for that. All the lying in the documents and all this bullshit, you're on the hook for this. This is forever. These documents are forever. They're going to see that you fucked this up forever. Come forward and be like, hey, listen, this is what happened. Again, this is why we need people to talk. I try to put that in every video. What's up, Reg? Well, another interesting thing as I was reading through more documents is actually Ayers and his attorney were pushing the state police to get more documents out. And the reason they were doing that is because they could collect the insurance money. Yeah. Well, they had ladders, Pam. But a lot of times, so when you see all these fire departments coming, especially rural Indiana, which I don't know that well, but you might only get 2 or 3 guys on a truck. You might have a 40-year-old guy driving it, an 18-year-old, and a 14-year-old. So you have to call these different departments. They all had ladders. It was too late at that point. That ladder needed to be deployed early. And if the 911 call gets made immediately, there isn't a 6-minute delay, the ladder gets deployed. You can't say for sure, but I'll tell you what, those girls would have had a very, very good chance of living. I'm not going to say that they would have for sure, but they would have had a very, very good chance for sure if those things would have happened. Lisa, Bureau. Why the hell would they put a B in front of that? Why wouldn't they just put ATF? Maybe I'm an idiot, Lisa, for not knowing that. Yeah, I wonder why I always see ATF. Well, you can't save everyone at every fire. They try to tell us this when we first come on. You didn't start the fire. You didn't make the incident happen. You got there and did everything you could do. So it's tough. You know, it's easy to Monday morning quarterback, and people that are novices at fire, like a lot of you haven't fought fires, and that's good. Or you haven't been exposed to a fire. That's good. You would live your life without being exposed to it. You're better off. But you guys right away, how come there isn't a ladder? So if people that aren't really firefighters know this, then yeah, that we said the same thing immediately. And I told you how much we enjoy porch roofs. Even if there's a little pitch, you could put tools up there. You could set all kind of shit up there without having to go on and off the ladder. You just come in and out the window. Flat ones are better, but as long as the pitch isn't crazy steep, if it's just a little bit, I could set tools up there. I could put my Halligan bar in the peak of the porch roof and like hook stuff around it if I wanted to. You know what I mean? There's little tricks that we get taught. Michelle, I don't know. It might be they didn't know there was 4 girls and there was only 3. I've had these documents for a while, and I really, really started going through them. And there was things I wanted to bring up before, but I wanted to be able to show them to you. I think now is the time. How do you know it was a typo later in time? I'm not sure what you mean by that one, B. But there's typos. It happens, especially the 911 dispatcher. Because you got to understand, I don't know if 2017 how it was, but it's like it's AI, so it'll like you watch YouTube, right? So you watch a YouTube video and you go back the next day and the transcript's on there. You could read the transcript of everything that was said. And sometimes the AI or whatever, they fuck it up and they don't say the right words. That's how it happens with us. That it's all the AI picks it up. I don't know what they did there. Yeah, Tanisha, the question here is, so they were giving CPR and someone, obviously the medic at the scene, who we could find out who that was at the time, he had to be, or she had to be the person that declared them dead. She was the head medical person at the scene. There's no doctors there that I can tell. There's doctors that are in the witness list for the civil stuff, but those were people that maybe saw the bodies before, whatever the case was, but that weren't there. So they had to do that. Yes, Kennedy, 3. I see a lot of people are catching up on that. They were declared by EMS telemetry. What is that, Lisa? Telemetry. Is that a company? Yeah, no, the medics and the EMTs that were there, they weren't going to declare someone or call someone with that boss there. I don't know what telemetry, maybe that's a local thing. I am not sure of that. Yeah, anyone it's interesting. I could send you, I have a zip. I put everything in. I could send you quite a bit of stuff. And I like to send stuff to people because there's something in there. I guarantee you there's something in there that I didn't catch. Or whoever sent them to me, they didn't catch certain things and I caught something. The more people that see it, that's why the more information that gets out, I think it's better. You know, we're not affecting the case. It's been almost 7 years, right? Whatever you're sitting on to make an arrest, what you're keeping close to the vest, it ain't working. So let some shit out. What's it going to hurt your case? You ain't arrested no one yet, right? We know you had persons of interest early on, but no one really knows what happened there. Thank you, Honeybee. Dukes of Hazzard. Boss Hog. You like the Boss Hog jokes? I'm sorry, I wasn't reading it right when we were going on. Oh, Paulie, so your son can tell exactly what a RIT team is. Yeah. When people saw stuff like that, like, you know, I can help you with that. That's super easy to explain what that is. So if you guys see that, or if you ever hear that RIT team, that's what that is, Rapid Intervention. Rapid Intervention team actually started in Pittsburgh. There was a fire on Bryceland Street. We lost 3 firefighters, Pittsburgh, local 1, 2 guys and a woman. And they didn't have accountability for them. We always had, you know, ways to check if everyone was there, but that actually started in Pittsburgh, Rapid Intervention. We're very proud of that here, although that we probably could do a better job than we do at it. But yeah, Discord, it took me a while, but I'm getting better at it. And there's a lot of funny stuff on there. And interesting stuff. I shouldn't say that. Here we go. Lisa's helping us out. Okay, so we call that MedCom here. And again, I am not at all a medical person. I could hold your neck, I could shock you and do CPR. And on a good day, maybe take someone's blood pressure, right? I don't get asked to do that very often, luckily for the patients and for me. But we have what's called MedCom. So they can call, they have a phone and they call, I don't know if it's in the ambulance, like a special phone. The phone rings, the doctor picks it up. So you have a guy, hey, this is what we got. This is what we got. They can pronounce people deceased if they're decapitated, if they're mummified. And on times they have heart monitors. So they'll put the heart monitor on them. They'll get a report of that heart monitor, will actually be sent to the doctor somehow. And he'll see, yeah, there's no life. Yeah, you could go ahead and declare them. I don't have to come out. You don't have to be transported. And the reason that this is done, the reason that they do that is so they don't have to disturb the crime scene. So I don't have to take a body from where it was to a hospital, to a doctor to declare the person deceased. I don't have to take a doctor out of the hospital to the scene and do that. Okay. So they use part of that process, in my opinion, properly, to a certain extent, and I'll get to that in a second. But they still move them to the floor of the fire station. And everyone's like, oh, the floor of the fire station. Listen, you move them anywhere. If you'd have moved them to a church, that'd have been wrong. That's a crime scene. There's no explaining it, none. I can't find another case in United States history where multiple people died in the fire and they were moved to a fire station. I've looked. In the history of the United States, I've looked. Even some of these church bombings and stuff that happened, they left people there. They left, without getting graphic, they left stuff all over because that's how they had to do their investigation. But we do have something similar to that. Like I said, they call MedCom or MedCommand. It could have been Tanisha, but if the 911 call was made, listen, if the 911 call was made right away and the fire department responded with similar actions that they did, that fire in the kitchen would have been knocked down a lot sooner because it had been there 6 minutes faster. And you see when they open up the line, it goes down pretty quick. The smoke and heat might not have traveled up the stairs yet. We don't know. Well, the guy that broke the window did, and the guy that ran the incident did. There was negligence by them too. I don't know, maybe not criminal negligence, but yeah, that shit, that it just can't happen, right? No one on the fire scene should not be aware of what breaking a window does. Right? If you're new, yeah, you can stay back here. You don't do anything, but that can't happen. And that you don't see a chief officer walking around. You don't see a white hat. There's no control of anything. Maybe that's why he didn't sign the paper as the chief officer, right? Yeah, if he gets called out for the RIT team, 9 times out of 10, they're just going to hang out there and not do nothing. But that 1 out of 10 times, I don't want to scare you, but he's out there doing work, though. He's out there doing work. He's doing good work. He's helping firefighters. Not a problem, Lindsay? Yeah, it's common sense, Deb, and it's also it's a national standard in all crimes, not just with the fire department, and it's a crime to move them. I've heard people say, well, no, I'm going to show you that. Give me a second here. As I can show you one more time. I'm going to show you the Indiana statute now. Okay, most states have a statute. I couldn't find a national one. Where did I have it here? Template floor plan. I'm going to open up my email. Give me 1 second. And I will show you the Indiana statute. I'm not going to read through all of it because lawyers wrote it. So, of course, it's dreadfully boring. Lawyers go to school to learn how to talk like they're smart. I swear, they don't even study the law. They take the English language and just fucking bend it. So basically, this is the statute that you're allowed to move bodies and things like that. They declare a state of emergency, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, it's all the stuff that you think. All right. Emergency service means preparation. These are all the people that are covered. Obviously, fire departments are covered. Management worker. They're just definitions here at the beginning. So state of emergency, anybody's emergency worker, if they're working for their fire department, EMS, public works, they could all be what's called emergency workers. And they could be told to do different shit. Hey, I'm a fireman. Well, guess what? I need you to goddamn take the tire off of this car for me. And we actually have in our union contract too, that the mayor can tell us to do. State of emergency, all bets are off, my friends. As long as they're not telling you to do something that's, it's going to hurt you or that you know is illegal, you don't have to do that. So the governor has to call all this out. This basically is, again, I'll show you the statute. I can send it to you too if you want. But I want to show you something here about what some people are citing, and I'm sorry it's taken me forever to get to this goddamn thing. Mobile support units they'll have. Yeah, we know that. Evacuation routes. Faith healing. I didn't read that section. They talk about allocations of funds. Oh, man, I hope I didn't miss it. I sent it here for a specific reason. Let's see if there's a table of contents. Because I'm looking for is their temporary morgue statute, what people said that's what this was. I'll look one more time, and then I'll find it, and I'll put it up on my page. You know what? I'll just do that anyway, because it's really it is really rattling. But basically what it says is these are certain times that you can move bodies for different reasons. And there was no emergency situation. So there was no reason to do any of this. Okay? None. This is a simple incident. It's a terrible incident, but it's not even a complex incident. It's a residential structure fire with multiple fatalities, but it's a simple incident. Complex incident is half the block burns down. Or we know someone that did this and we're chasing them down the street and there's multiple things going on at once. So it's not even a complex incident, much less state of emergency. Good question. For my next trick, I'm going to show you something else. I'm going to show you one more thing that I'm going to share today. So this is a pretty good timeline here of case mismanagement. Let me see if I can't make this bigger. I don't know if that helps you guys or not. Again, I'm not going to read through all this. This is pretty in-depth. I could send this to anyone that wants it. It basically tells you things that happened. January 28th, multiple accelerants were found. So this is the first official thing that you heard from it. We know that that's bullshit. And multiple fire investigators went to Randall, took Randall to task on that. It was so bad, Randall resigned. They said he didn't use science to make his findings. Basically, he said, you're full of shit. Here you go. You got the email. You know, that was Mike. All these things are working out. So there's a pretty good timeline. And again, I could send this to anybody, or I can probably post on my community page if you guys think that's even easier. The link, I think I can post a link there that you guys can pull all this out from. But I like to share as much as I can. But it just shows you incompetence. Here's the thing that I want to go back to. This was in June of 2017. And if you saw the interview, okay, 13 Investigate showed its copies of the investigator concerns to both Robert Ives, the Carroll County prosecutor, and Doug Carter, the Indiana State Police superintendent. Both of them were caught off guard by the emails and the alleged problems with Randall's findings, and their responses recorded. I don't know. I'll find out about this, Carter told Investigates in May. 13 Investigates in May. I've never seen this before, Ives told 13 Investigates. 1 week after Carter vowed to get to the bottom of the emails and concerns raised about multiple accelerants, Dennis Randall resigned from his job at the Indiana Department of Homeland Security. Ives requested, blah, 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 but so they fucked up and he resigned. So was he just dumber than a sack of hammers, or was he covering for somebody? And if you're going to cover for someone and cost yourself your career as a fire investigator, because he already cost himself his career as a cop because he couldn't be a cop anymore, who are you going to do that for? Right? Who are you going to do that for? I just don't see it. I don't see it. The email was sent on a Saturday. A press release was sent on a Saturday morning where everyone was out of the office. And they said, Denny, what are you doing here? Slow down. Why are you putting this out? He pushed this narrative down everyone's throat. There's people in that town to this day that believe Gaylin Rose walked down the street with a can of gasoline. We know that is a fact, that is bullshit. And there's people that still perpetrate that lie. So how are we ever going to get to the bottom of this? How are we ever going to get someone out of the woodwork to talk to us about this if people in that town still believe absolute horseshit? How do we win their hearts and minds? How do we show them? I think by facts. How many people in that town saw these documents before? How many read through them? How many understand them? There's things in there that you're going to see that I don't see, and I want to hear about it. I'll send this to anyone that wants to get it. I'll send you everything I have on Flora. I have quite a database. I don't have a meow database, but a lot of the stuff I got from her. These particular things that I did not get from her, but just a lot of background stuff on everything. So I'm getting ready to cut out of here pretty soon. I'm going to go back to some comments. I see is 4 Pits in here. I'm going to have 4 Pits on one of these days here really soon. We're going to talk about people in that county because he, good and bad, had experiences with it. I don't want to say anything out of turn, but if you watch Silky Southern Tea, 4 Pits was on with her. He makes a revelation to me that is fucking hilarious. Maybe I shouldn't laugh about it. I have a little different sense of humor, but he talked about growing up knowing Nick McClellan and this and that. And it's good. You got to go watch it. I'm not going to give it away here. It's funny. Me and my girlfriend were watching. He's like, did he just say what I think he said? I says, oh, yeah, that's pretty good. I'm trying to get to some questions here. We'll get some questions, and then I will take on out. Yeah, Tanisha, find Discord. Jinx is great with it. There's a lot of good stuff in there. There's a lot of funny stuff in there. Ruckus calls you a switchboard operator. He's right. I could see you, Jinx, them old movies in the hospital, West 44, ping, ping, ping. Air traffic controller. Yeah, I'm not sure what live you guys were talking about in there last night where people were going crazy, but I'm going to go back and check it out. Michelle, need a whistleblower to come forward. They have a whistleblower letter, and I know certain people that I respect a ton in this case believe everything in a whistleblower letter. I don't believe everything in there. I think that they wanted to get some information out, but more than that, they wanted to push a narrative. And through that narrative that they pushed out, we were able to glean information. Does that sound right to you? I think I know who wrote the whistleblower letter. I'm not going to say it here. I'm not going to out that person. There's a chance I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm right. But I hope that they will come out one day and explain what everything is. But I think you're right. There was people at that fire, men and women, that fire's burned into their soul. Those 4 girls' lives and souls are just, they carried them around. So everybody at that scene wasn't bad. Everyone in that fire department is not bad. Everyone in that fire department is not covering things up. There could be people covering things up they don't even know. I guarantee there's people within that department that don't know the X's and Y's and the Z's of what happened. Exactly. But if there is someone that does, man, I'll talk to you. You come on my show. You can explain, hey, maybe I'm wrong. You point me in the right direction. Or you just want to talk. I've been there. I did what you had to do that night. I did it. I've done it. I hope I never have to do it again, but I might. There was something here. Lisa, yeah. Lisa always has good stuff. Let me get to her. Lisa. The girls probably could not have gotten out in time with the smoke detectors. This is a large part of the civil case. So you're saying that I would imagine Birch Tree Holdings attorneys are saying that if they had working smoke detectors, even if they had working smoke detectors, they wouldn't have gotten out of that house. If that's the case, I think Gaylin has a slam dunk. I wasn't there that night, but I'll tell you what, the other people got out to that working smoke detectors. Now, granted, the fire was in their compartment, but if you had working smoke detectors, yeah, they would have been, Gaylin would have been woken up, goodness gracious, immediately. The smoke detectors are so sensitive. If you spray hairspray near them, they'll go off. So if that's their case, I don't know how Gaylin's going to lose it. I think that's a terrible argument. That's a terrible argument. The page you read said 4. Yeah, they've said both. There was 4 and 3. Initially was 3. Both times in the report, they initially mentioned 3. Then they mentioned the 4th. But they do get it right at the end. It's just weird, though. It said all 3 girls. So when you wrote that report, you wrote it after the fact, after the fire. Could there have been, hey, maybe we thought there was 3 and there was 4? In that situation there, I don't think that would have mattered. If the 4th girl was left in there and they didn't know where she was or didn't know there was 4, that wouldn't have mattered. Their lives were decided before this, but it just when you add it to everything else, and the question is that you have, how haphazardly was this stuff done? At the very least, do it to protect yourself as a firefighter or a chief officer. Cover your own ass, and if that's what they're trying to do, they're not. And all they're doing is using the town council and stuff just to throw shade into everything and to throw like a defense up instead of coming out and saying, no, well, we did fuck up. Look, it happens. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. And I mean doing your report. Oh, I think I must have dropped way back in the chat here because I'm seeing other stuff. Let me get down here to the bottom of it. Lisa always has good stuff. I think she's local. I'll jump in here. Mother of Dragons, hello. They do a toxicology report. Yes. I think Lisa answers you. Yes, I have that too. Everyone's tox is clean, by the way. What short video the other day, and a guy who was moving into a multi-story building noticed smoke coming from the 2nd floor. Other man was trying to break down the door. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good people. You do what you got to do. Just be careful if you ever do that. I'm not saying not to. You come across a fire in your neighborhood and you kick that door in, be ready for smoke and heat to come out at you, right? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But if it's in that downstairs, it's going to come out at you. And I shouldn't be telling you this, but if you let the fire kind of take a breath and go, a lot of times it sucks back in real quick and you might be able to get in around the corner real fast. But you shouldn't be doing that without fire gear. You shouldn't be doing that with fire gear. but definitely not without. Okay. Yes. He said that now. I think Gaylin wishes he would have said that a long time ago, but he did say that. I think that they were looking at her family initially because of what the firemen and what people were telling them. They were being steered by Flora police and Flora fire officials or official. I don't want to blame it on the department. They were getting steered that she did it, and they believed it until the state police and FBI, are they in it? Maybe not. I don't know. You hope that they are. Yes, Deb. My email is, I'll put it in here. What am I thinking? I keep saying it. Who's going to write it down, right? Just say, hey, I like so-and-so. Just give me your screen. You don't have to give me your real name if you don't want to. I just want to make sure you're not a kook. I had kooks in my email a while back. I don't bitch about it, though. Fuck them, right? What are they going to do? But I'll share some there or send it to you guys. And like I said, I want to send it to you guys so you guys can look at it in case there's something I missed. Love when they reached up, man, to say, oh, wow. Well, that common sense also takes what we call here chutzpah or balls. And that's not a unique thing to a man. In times of strife, I've seen women have big balls too, and they get the job done. Yeah, I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know what their thought process were, and you really can't see it. All it says is we started rescue and fire suppression operations. Usually in that report, obviously you did both of them. Here's what we did. We stretched a 200 feet of 1 3/4 line into the fire. We began flowing, water on it. We reflowed 400 gallons before we consider it knocked down. A team came from, you break it down. You just don't put it, just put it in. There's 4 pits. Go watch his thing with Silky Southern Tea. I'm going to have 4 pits on too. Indie Pam, I'll be able to do that. I'll figure a way to do that out, but you guys have my email. Just say, hey, this is Indie Pam, this is Honeybee, this is just Deb, or whatever, and I'll send you a ton of shit. I'll send you everything you want, really. I'm getting ready to get out of here. Lindsay, I hate to say that, but I think you're right. But let's amend that. People in power lying seems to be ingrained in Kerrielle County. I think the regular people there are like regular people anywhere else, right? Like to have a couple beers on Friday night, order pizza, watch some football on Sunday, go to work. But the people up top, not all of them, but a lot. I don't even know that, Michelle. There's a good chance that more of us, I'm going to guarantee more of us have saw it than the people in the town have even seen it. Dark here. We know the battery saver's on. Ooh. Go watch Silky and 4 Pits, please. It was awesome. Lisa, I agree with you on the whistleblower letter. I would put 50-50 true, 50-50 false. I probably disagree with you on which 50-50 though, but that's okay. You bring a local flair, and I don't mind it. I think that the Yoder thing and that the wafting of the blame at Yoder was the bullshit part of it. There's other things too, and I'm sure you know who wrote it, and I know who wrote it. We don't have to say who wrote it. Let me just say this, Lisa. I have a lot of hope for the person that wrote that letter. I honestly do. And people that I'm really, really good friends with from this case have a lot of hope in that person too. So I do. I hope I'm right. I hope you're right and I'm wrong on that. I really do. Honest to God. I do. Release the tapes. Yeah, that's the other thing. We'll cover that another time. And before we leave, just so you know, 911 tapes are public information. All you have to do is ask for them. And if you're going to ask for them and they don't want to give them to you, okay, they have to have a reason why. The burden of proof is on them. Well, yeah, we got a lot more to cover, guys. I'm going to share as much as I can. I'm going to check my emails. Oh, thanks, Pam. I've been on vacation. My girlfriend likes it too. We have to keep shaved. I can only have a mustache to here, and I ain't trying to look like a porn star because our SCBA or mask have to fit. We're not allowed to have that. That's why. My computer's about to die. I'm sorry. I had a really good time. I'll pop back in and answer as many questions as I can. I thank everybody for coming in. And I'm not a total idiot because I figured out how to share documents. So that's something to build on, right? But I'm going to get out of here before this just cuts and goes to black like the final Sopranos. Thank you, everybody. Like, share, subscribe, share the word. Send me your email. Send you everything I have because it's all, like I said, we're allowed to have everything we have. There's no gag order here, okay? There's no gag order. Thank you, everybody. And remember why we're doing this at the end. It isn't for likes, subscriptions, and this or that. It's to get justice, man, for them girls and for Gaylin. And at the end of the day, we accomplish that. We're golden, right? What do we do then? We go into the next case, and we do it for someone else. Because we're good people, right? Hey, Tech Death, Truth, Justice, missing a lot of you. Lisa, thanks always for all the good stuff. Linda, Jinx, Honeybee, everybody. We're going to get out of here before my computer dies. We're going to say tentacles. We're going to have a drink, non-alcoholic, because I got weed.